lives. Lamar Brown, it's Frank's show. I just love to direct traffic. Frank, gold to go. Got a lot of people watching, and I love it. We got us a following in Cape Sandblast, Florida. Great show. Taylor Cruz, Indian Pass Pirate. Thank y'all so much for watching. We do this because we love it, but man, it makes you feel great when you can help make people's day. Pierre T. Landash, yes, he's a Cajun. He's French, and he's from Baton Rouge. Lives in Memphis. Love the guy. Love to pray the rosary with him. He's a great dude.
Bonjour.
Frank, let's
right.
talk about, man, 23 days ago, you were on this story like kudzu and cotton in the South. Take it from here, because LSU, like you said, it's a victory lap.
Well, welcome to our 9th Goal to Go show. Boy, did we pick the right time to have an LSU podcast crank up here on our Sidelines network. Rob, if you know, you know. And those of us that were close to LSU and had, some contacts in pretty high places, and let's face it, all you got to do is just pick up the phone and call over to U-High and see if Knox is, enrolled, and, we did. Yep. So, there was some good investigative journalism that was going on. We knew Lane was coming. So we're happy taking a victory lap, and Ole Miss is upset. I get it. They're poo-pooing it. You enjoy him now because it's going to be heartbreaking. That's cool. We know it's a rent-a-coach. Lane is just that type of guy, and we'll take the ride with him. We're looking forward to it. It's going to make our Goal to Go show way more interesting even next year than our 7-5 record this year. This is our 9th show, our Joe Burrow show. It's just been a wild couple of weeks, and all we were doing is worrying about Lane having a change of heart. I thought there could have been the chance that he might have weaseled his way into a SEC championship coaching opportunity. And look, that's why I was watching the Iron Bowl, because if you guys hang on and without the boys in Birmingham throwing their weight to Alabama as they normally do, you guys would upset Alabama. You've got all sorts of things at play. Lane could possibly get on to the SEC championship game, and you could have had a DeBoer to Penn State possibility, but it broke our way. We're excited. It's going to be a hell of an opener against Clemson. My RV Bengal one has already got the diesel in it. I got the shrimp in the freezer. We're going to be doing a nice little etouffee, Rob, that first game. I'm actually joining my new buddies, the guys that I went to the hunting camp with, the Lazy Tiger Tailgate Club. I'm going to be helping them throw our tailgates, at LSU. It's just no sense in doing it at the RV down by the RV lot. But I'm going to pick one away game every year to take Bengal one, and the entire tailgate group is going to come to that away game. And that can normally mean about 200 people. And the only decision that we have to do is it going to be Ole Miss? Is it going to be Tennessee? Is it going to be Auburn? Or is it going to be Texas A&M? And I got a feeling I'm going to hire some security, put some machine gun turrets out, lay a little Constantina wire out, and we're going to bring old Bengal one to Oxford, Mississippi, plant our flag, and let's bring it on. It's going to be a battle royale, brother, and I cannot wait.
Well, and not to get questions on here, Lane looks very weird at Louisiana.
No, let me
enjoy the honeymoon. It's just fun.
Look how good he looks in that purple. That man was made to be in purple. Yeah. Let me tell you something. I get it, Ole Miss fans. I get it. I know you're in pain. I had to sit and watch my coach go on and coach Alabama to my national championships from 2007 to 2023. Yep. It hurts. It hurts bad. I get it. Y'all better pace yourselves, because guys, I endured that for 17 years, 17 seasons, long seasons. Y'all are only on week 1. You better just dial it back a notch. I get your butt hurt. I get it, but I'm sorry. All things are fair in love and war and poaching and recruiting. So look, we're very excited. We know he could go at any time. We know that we could be in your seat 5 years from now, 3 years from now. Whenever. We get it. We totally get it. And don't think for a moment we don't embrace the black hat, because let me tell you guys, LSU was made to be the villain. We talk different. We eat different. We act different. We drink different. We pass out at funerals. Let me tell you something. We're okay being the odd person. That's what we love about us. That's what makes Tiger Stadium on a Saturday night so wild. We're that way. We have a passion. And look, what's the old saying? 'Tis better to love than lost and never loved at all. That's what we had to say ourselves with Saban. And look, if I can lose Nick Saban and not go into therapy, I can lose Lane Kiffin 4 years from now, 5 years from now. But let's see what he does, because let me tell you, Nick Saban has said to all of our Alabama fans here that are going to be doing comments, let me tell you something. Nick Saban said at the Louisiana Hall of Fame induction, when he was inducted in our Sports Hall of Fame this past year, said his biggest regret, his biggest disappointment professionally was leaving LSU. You never forget your first love.
Yeah.
And, I think it's great. I think Lane, and by the way, Alabama fans are mad. I saw many, many posts that they're mad because Nick Saban, they're paying him, $1 million a year to be a consultant?
$500,000, yeah.
Whatever it is. And he's got that corner office in Bryant-Denny Stadium overlooking Nick Saban Field. Well, let me tell you something. They ain't all too happy that Nick told old Lane to come to LSU, because they know they got a formidable foe that's coming. So I'm hearing many of my Alabama friends are PO'd beyond belief on how angry they are that Nick Saban got him to come to us, because they know what Lane can build. They know our recruiting fields. We played for 3 national championships and won 2 while Nick Saban was at Alabama. You don't think we can, trump up what Ed Ogeron and Les Miles did? Absolutely he can. He's a much smarter coach, better, as good of a recruiter. And here's the kicker, what people aren't realizing. We're putting $25 to $30 million a year at the roster. That was the big thing. I think Nick Saban's advice was a big part of Lane coming and not going to Florida and not staying at Ole Miss. But I think another big part was our commitment to the NIL or player roster, whatever you want to call it. It's pro football now. Well, we're going to commit to that, and that's why he came. That's why him and Jimmy decided to come. And you get the players at LSU and you lock up the state of Louisiana, with all due respect to our friends at Tulane. And look, we were talking about this earlier. They're probably going to get our DC. They're probably going to get Blake Baker. He's a Tulane player. He's got, again, great Tulane ties. I think they're going to give him enough. The question is going to be, does he want to stay at LSU and make $3 million as a DC and wait for a Division I job? Or do you go to Tulane, get a head coaching job? Well, he's seen Willie Fritz and he's seen Craig John Summerall land him there. He knows the stuff. So I think we're going to lose our DC. But make no mistake about it, guys. We're putting the money in. We're paying Lane $13 to $14 million with incentives. We're putting $25 to $30 million in player rosters. And in the words of Eddie O, we're coming.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing too, we know a lot about NIL and what that can mean to you. Ole Miss's Grove Collective, over 15,000 members, and that swelled after Kiffin played footsie with Auburn at the end of the 22 season.
Yeah, they were pissed.
It tanked their season. They lost like 4 games in a row. Now, here it is, over 15,000 in the Grove Collective. Lauren Meadows said on this channel, the lowdown with Lauren Meadows, that the Florida Collective had less than 1,000 members. I think the problem at a school like Florida, everyone assumes that there's this handful of donors that are going to write all the checks. I can tell you from talking to big donors at different schools, that pisses them off more than anything. They're going, look,
no doubt,
I'm not self-funding the school. You watch, there should be a populist explosion of the collective in Baton Rouge for LSU, because LSU makes a lot of money in the oil and gas. We know that. But there's a lot of other money there. Like the next time you go grab a bag through the drive-through window at Cane's,
damn right,
you got to say, go Tigers.
Let me tell you something. You think we may have money in oil and gas? We've got money in chicken oil too. Those fryers, that oil in that chicken fryer. Ty Graves, who I'm acquainted with. I wouldn't say we're buddies, but I'm acquainted with him. I've met him a couple times, talked to him a couple times. Let me tell you something. The man's worth $22 billion.
Is
He
it
owns
all from chicken tenders?
Yes, everything that. Well, of course, in investments now and real estate and doing other stuff.
Okay.
And then, of course, he's an entrepreneur. He was on Shark Tank earlier this year as well. So he's branched out. It's not just Raising Cane's, but he owns every Raising Cane's a location. He brought the franchises back to my knowledge.
Okay.
So at $22 billion, think about this. We paid $54 million to send a Yankee packing who never got us at all and had no attention to details. You also have the fact that you now got Lane Kiffin on for $100 million. Yeah. And then if you're paying your team now $25 to $30 million, I'm sorry, add that up. You know what that is? 0.00001 to a guy that's got $22 billion. That's what that is. And we're not even talking about Richard Lipsy, and we're not even talking about the cat out in California who was the first guy to step up and say, look, I'll pay to get Kelly out of here. So we've got money. We've got passion. We've got a state that has per capita some of the best talent in the country. We don't have a natural rival in our own state. Again, all due respect to Tulane. And look, I started out a Tulane fan. I was a Tulane ball boy at 12 years old in the early 70s.
Yeah.
I was a Tulane fan before I went to LSU. So with all due respect to them, a kid gets an offer from LSU and he gets an offer from Tulane. He's not even thinking twice. He's going to LSU. So when you add all that up, Lane Kiffin, Lane might be snarky and he might be a little oily, but he ain't stupid. He's a chess player. By the way, that's why he waited until Sunday. He wanted to see what happened to the Iron Bowl because he knew he might have actually a little bit more leverage if Auburn beat Alabama, which frankly they were playing better until the boys from Birmingham stepped in. So that's exactly what he was thinking. He goes, I might be able to weasel my way into an SEC championship game. Yeah. So we have no problem with that. I don't care how he left. I don't care if anybody's hurt feelings. Could care less. We'll gladly take the role of villain.
All right, let me throw something at you. Gary Harris, WVUA Channel 23 sports director and Tide 100.9, and he also was a co-host with Rodney Orr, Tider Insider TV. Really knows Alabama's program. He said, "Look, I live in Tuscaloosa. I know what's going on." He said there was some real, truth to that rumor that if Auburn had beaten Alabama, Kalen DeBoer might say, life's too short to be kicked and just go through this every day. That Penn State job, he may have taken it. That's how crazy, that's how big that game was. And so you look at LSU. Let's talk, and Brendan, our executive producer, who is the best in the world, he was pointing some things out in the pre-show preparation and about staff vacancies and new positions, what they might do at LSU. And for one thing we do know, it's going to be interesting to see how Lane recruits the state of Louisiana. You go back, River Ridge, John Curtis, wasn't that where Mike Stonebreaker came from?
Stoney.
And 1988 national championship linebacker at Notre Dame.
Correct.
The one school that can come into Louisiana and have an effect is Notre Dame, because 75%
all Catholics.
It's a de facto Catholic state university, right. LSU. I mean,
Kevin Falk stopped that. Kevin Falk is the one that stopped that from happening. And I saw Kevin actually before the game. I went down with Lance Smith onto the field before the South Carolina game and got to see Kevin. Great guy.
Right.
He pivoted a lot back in the mid 90s.
He did. Now, for people that are not from Louisiana, and I got a lot of them: Blake Kleinpeter, Tanner Stein, Jarrett Montague, Pierre Landash, Bud Ritchie. A lot of my LSU friends watching. I got to ask you, Lafayette, Karen Crow.
Karen Crow.
Yeah, Jacques Doucet was on Channel 9. Jacques is a Cajun. He's from Lafayette, and his father speaks fluent Cajun French. He was the one who was on the levee on the Mississippi River Easter Sunday speaking Cajun French with.
There you go.
Edo. And look, in spite of his transgressions or whatever he did right, wrong, in between, who among us has not screwed up before?
That's right.
You can't help but love Edo. And who wouldn't want to hang out and drink road sodas with the guy? I mean,
well, he's got $17.5 million to buy you a cocktail with down in Destin.
That's right.
Look, my issue with Edo was this. Here's my issue with Edo. Obviously, the greatest college football season of all time. Sorry, Georgia. Sorry, Bama. Even my good buddy Rob here, the 2010 Auburn team. There is nobody can compare with 2019 LSU. I will debate. I will go on James Carville's side, who I'm not politically aligned with, and actually debate anybody that was the greatest team of all time. Or I'll just send you what Mike Greenberg said the day after and send that to you and say, here, this is my reasoning. But Ed Ogeron, before the confetti had dropped to the floor at the Superdome, took his eye off of his real mistress, which was LSU.
Yeah.
And,
You're right.
and all you have to do is look and see what the hell happened in that Mississippi State game, the first game of the COVID year, and saw how ill prepared we were.
Yeah.
That made Ed Ogeron's bet. And by the way, if that didn't do it, when I went with my good buddy, because I have racehorses, and my horse partner and I went to go see the Tigers play in Kentucky, I had 50-yard line seats, 10 rows up because of all of our connections in Lexington and Kentucky. And when I saw the look that Woody gave to Ogeron when we were getting beat by like 30 to Kentucky, is the same look that they were looking at with Kelly when Texas A&M was a hooting and a hollering in the third and fourth quarter, which is why that buyout got collected before the game was even over. I can assure you that was the same look that Woody gave to Ogeron on the sideline in Kentucky. And he was gone that week. It was quiet. He beat Florida at home, but that didn't matter. So for Ogeron to come back, though it sounds good, for a lot of us LSU purists, we did not like the way that he took his eyes off the prize. You saw how we played at UCLA that next opener. And look, I brought Bengal 1 all the way out to the West Coast. We had skin in the game. There was lots of LSU people there. That was embarrassing as well. So if Ed Ogeron never coaches another down for LSU on a defensive line or as a recruiter or wherever, it's Ed Ogeron's. He's the reason why that doesn't happen.
One thing I'll never forget, Friday afternoon, I was down in Auburn. You were out in Los Angeles, Brentwood for 2 weeks with Bengal 1 on the coast. And you told me, you said either you or one of your friends said you had a picture or you saw Coach O on Rodeo Drive with his young lady friend the day before that game when, and also you knew there was judgment issues clouded when he put TJ Finley, the Statue of Liberty, the 8 foot tall quarterback who's on his 7th school in 6 years. I mean, and Auburn beat them, 48-20. It was LSU.
No, we didn't have 20. There's no way we had 20. I don't even think we were close. I think we were in the teens.
No, you had 11.
Yeah, it was 11. That's my. We didn't even make the teens. We were short of the teens.
It's weird.
You're exactly right, Rob. And look, I don't begrudge somebody happiness.
I know.
I mean, look, you find a love of your life. They're married. Outstanding. I think that's great. And sometimes you got to choose love over cash. I'm living proof of that. I'm happily married for 30 years. I get it.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, Coach O had his prize place, and had he coached, I'll go to my grave saying this. Had he had a different approach during the COVID year of 2020, I mean, Bama coming in just throttled us. That was an embarrassment. I was in a section all by myself because you had to space out. Yeah. It was unbelievable.
A lot of elbow room.
I can still see Bo Pelini down there, and nobody's listening to him on the sideline. It was a train wreck. Yeah. And then the next year, when you're getting the hell beat, and not only get the hell beat out of you by Kentucky, but get manhandled and lose the line of scrimmage on both sides. I can still remember sitting there. I was like, man, this is like otherworldly. So no, I love O. He's Louisiana through and through. I would eat his gumbo before I ate Brian Kelly's or Lane Kiffin's, but you get what you get. And I'm telling you, there was a lack of focus, and it was a lack of focus that was understood and admitted to in the football facility. Not me. I wasn't there, but other players and coaches said we took our eyes off the prize. And look, the results prove, look, in this world, especially in college football, brother, winning cures everything. And if you're not winning, they're going to shine a light on what's going on. And that's what happened with Brian Kelly. That's why he's no longer here.
Yeah.
He was more interested in being in his wine cellar than be out recruiting or being in a duck blind with sponsors. And I mean, he just didn't play the game. He was Potato Boy 2.0, like Harsin was at Auburn. And let me tell you something. Auburn, LSU, Alabama, Ole Miss, these are programs that if you don't understand the culture that you're stepping into, you're not going to get it. And that's why there was the potential of DeBoer looking at Penn State, because I mean, he was going to do a Bill Curry. He was going to say, I can't take this pressure cooker.
Yep, he was.
Now, again, it didn't come to pass because they won, thanks to the boys in Birmingham. In my humble opinion, I think y'all got a job again. But without that, who knows what he does that night? And look, I don't know if Lane Kiffin does get to go to Alabama because there was bad blood when Lane was there. I mean, there was real bad blood. And look, Saban's got to love the guy if he tells him to go to LSU, which I think was the better choice than staying at Ole Miss or going to Florida, when he damn near fired him before the national championship. Coming out of the SEC championship game, man, Lane and Nick were on the outs. I mean, you remember what wound up happening.
Well, and the thing, Kalen DeBoer, it's tough. They're still recruiting a lot of the West Coast kids and around. He's still not 100% dialed in on the Deep South recruiting, but he'll figure it out. The guy wins everywhere he goes.
The longer he's there, the more successful he's going to be.
Yeah, you're right. And like a good bottle of wine. And I think about Kelly. To me, Kelly did not get it. You knew it from the beginning. He was a snob. No, Bruce Pearl's from Boston. He seems to embrace the Southern culture. There have been lots of guys. Dan Mullins.
It was condescending.
Yeah.
Rob, the real word was not snobbish. It's condescending. Yeah. And look, we didn't care. Let me.
I didn't like it.
Well, let me tell you, in November 9th of 2022, in the euphoria of the aftermath of beating Alabama, him having the stones to go for 2 and beating them, I could have cared less if he had a string of Tourette's and he was talking in a British accent. I could have cared less.
Yeah.
But the problem was he hired crappy coordinators. Matt House was horrible.
Yeah.
And then you come in with Joe Sloan.
Yeah.
And the reason why we lost Denbrock is he berated Denbrock because he lost, helped lose Bryce to Michigan. So he just was a horrible delegator, and yet he was a delegator. That's the funny part. He chose to be a CEO type head coach. Well, if you're going to be a CEO head coach, you got to get the right guys underneath you. Yep. Now, it's critical that we keep Corey Raymond, our D-backs coach, critical. Yeah. We got to keep Frank Wilson. We got to keep that pipeline, Mr. New Orleans. We got to keep him. I know we're going to lose Baker. He was offered by Lane already. It's going to be $3 million in either Tulane head coach or LSU DC. It's just going to be a matter which way he goes. And the kid put on olive and blue to play. He's going to go to Tulane. We got to come up with another defensive coordinator, but that's okay. If you can keep the key recruiters, which if we can keep Corey and we can keep Frank, I'll take whatever Lane decides. Look, Lane Kiffin, you call him what you want, but he is a shrewd operator.
Yeah, he is.
And he learned that from the debacle of the Oakland Raiders. Okay? That and the train wreck that Tennessee was. He is not the same guy. Yes, he will leave me. I know he will leave me. I know this is a temporary gig. I get it. But he is not the same guy that he was when he started out. I think he has matured. I think he understands the process. And he is a chess player, in my opinion. And we've had a couple checker players as head coaches. So I'll take my chances with another chess player. I'll take that. And in my opinion, it could be what Nick Saban could have had if he doesn't rabbit. And if he stays 10 to 15 years, you could see the dynasty that Nick Saban was building in the mid-2000s before he decided to get on Wayne Huizinga's plane.
Yeah, and you don't get any bigger than the stage at LSU. So, the next step, again, you go to the NFL, you don't have the control over things. Ask Steve Spurrier, ask Nick Saban. The more you win, the lower you draft. In college, the more you win, the better you recruit, unless you sit on your ass and don't work hard and you lose sight of the prize. Coming off that national championship in 2019, you thought LSU would just choose versus recruit. Yep. And that's what happens a lot of times is people win and suddenly they think they were born on third base and they hit the triple. They quit working. I think the best thing I ever learned in selling bonds and stocks is as soon as you make a sale, get your ass right back on the phone and get punched in the balls and brought back down to reality. I do it again and again and again. And it's repetition is the mother of all skill. I do think you're right about Kiffin something. At LSU, he's going to have all, and he had the support at Ole Miss. What he left behind at Ole Miss is a football program in the best shape it's been in school history. So that's his leg. Hate him all you want, but my God, he showed Ole Miss people what can happen there, and the sky's the limit. And I'm telling you, Pete Golding, Joe Judge, the guys that are there, the money that came in to try to keep Kiffin is going back into NIL. They are flush with cash in Oxford, and the Orphan Brigade. That's the Ole Miss football team. They don't have a coach. They're missing some stuff, but they're going to have a lot of people around the country pulling for them. By the way, I have to say this: Diego Pavia for Heisman.
Yeah, I love Diego. Well, look, Rob, you're right, and Ole Miss should have money pouring in. Yeah. They should have had money pouring in to keep him because he's that type of a coach. Yeah. And they should have money coming in now because they got the red ass, because they want to show us. Believe me, there's gonna be a run on French's mustard containers in the state of Mississippi like you've never seen when we roll into town. It's going to be a 3-ring friggin' circus. It's going to be like when Alabama used to come to LSU in 2012 and 2010 and 2008 with Nick Saban. It's going to be exactly that. And look, we will find out what Ole Miss does. We're going to see how good of that Lane was. We'll see what Golding does with that war chest. But no, and Ole Miss should be a good program. Why shouldn't they be a good program? I think we're better, but they should be a good program. Absolutely.
Well, you said it on Sidelines on our show, our morning show on the round table this morning, right before this show. You said that LSU Ole Miss rivalry is going to go back to like it was in the 50s and the 60s. And look, if you looked at the TV numbers that came out, the SEC versus the Big Ten, even though 80% almost of the TV sets in America live in the geographical footprint that is the Big Ten, it's these geographical contiguous footprint. The SEC is all connected versus you just can't make people watch Oregon and Indiana, even though they're both in the top 10 and they're both great programs. There's just something about Texas, Oklahoma, LSU, Texas A&M, Florida, Georgia, Auburn, Alabama, Tennessee, Kentucky, that they're just these Arkansas, Texas outdrew all these other games in much bigger stakes because it's nostalgia.
Yeah. I mean, if you forgive our border state of Missouri, we drew a line around the old Confederacy is basically what we did.
Where's Josie Wales when we need him?
We got a picket line that Robert E. Lee himself would be proud of. Yeah. And by the way, you do know how we got our name as the LSU Fighting Tigers. It was Robert E. Lee who said, if I had a couple divisions like my boys from Louisiana who get out there and fight like tigers, I could win this war in a week. That's how we got our name.
Yeah.
And by the way, don't think it was lost. When Lane left Mississippi, he burned more bridges than William Tecumseh Sherman, who, by the way, happened to be the first LSU superintendent back in 1856, coming off of the Mexican American War. He was the first superintendent in 1860 when we started our university.
Well, and you know what's crazy is these Southern schools. The history, the traditions, the heroes, the stories just keep getting told and from one generation to the next. LSU, John Ed Bradley, got to find a way to get this guy on the show. The Saturdays down south, if you can get us John Ed Bradley, please do.
I'm best friends with his brother, Bobby Bradley. He and I were Kappa Sig Pledge brothers together in 1980 at LSU.
All right, I would love to get him on.
I'll call Boog ahead.
The round table or this show. I just love the way he tells the stories. And again, I'm an Auburn grad, you know that, but I listen to AM radio games all over the country. There's nothing like Saturday night growing up with John Ferguson and WWL in New Orleans, 870 with Hap Glaudy. King Edward cigar time is 7 p.m. coming across the Lake Pontchartrain Bridge. We've got his returned over oyster truck out here on the highway. Mr. Gajon and Mr. Broussard are going at it like drunk monkeys.
Voice of the Tigers, John Ferguson here. WWL and the Tigers are on the road. Oh, my good buddy Dan Mornay. And the sun has found its home in the western sky. And it's Saturday night in Death Valley. Yeah, Dan's good buddy. And by the way, Dixon McMakin. I'm real good friends with his dad, Wally McMakin. He goes to the Derby with us when we went this past year. Dixon is now the new voice of LSU PA basketball and football. Going back to what you were saying about the Knights in Tiger Stadium and the history and the tradition. And let me tell you, a big part of that was that LSU Ole Miss rivalry in the 50s and in the 60s.
Yeah.
And look, Ole Miss in 59, 61, and 62, and then LSU winning the national championship in 58, y'all winning in 57. You had the Deep South at that time, and look, there was a lot going on in the Deep South. There was a lot happening. But college football was at that core at that time.
Well, Tennessee in 51 winning the national championship
with General Neyland.
And you're so right. General Neyland's the only football coach, by the way, who won a national championship, went to war, came back, won a national championship, went back to war. My friend, Uncle Charlie Lloyd Monger, his grandparents lived across the street from General Neyland in Knoxville. And I've got a great picture my friend Ralph Jordan Jr., Suge's son, has at the Andrew Johnson Hotel in downtown Knoxville. It's the coolest picture. It's General Neyland, it's Coach Vaught, and it's Suge Jordan whiskeyed up at the bar, man. We're about to have to wrap it up, but I'm going to tell you, Frank, thanks for letting me come on here with you. God bless America. LSU, their fan base. I know Ole Miss fans are mad. LSU fans, it's kind of like a divorce attorney. The best one, half the people hate her guts. It's just how it goes. You got the Lane Kiffin sweepstakes. But all these SEC schools, you know what's most important is the fans care. I mean, and because you got passionate people, things are going to work out, aren't they?
And don't forget, we broke this story on SEC Sidelines
with
Rob Browne. And let me tell you, we scooped national, regional. We went out on a limb. We put our arm on a chopping block, and guess what? We called our shot like Babe Ruth, and it came in.
Hey, I thought it was kind of gut-wrenching sometimes to make a recommendation to someone put millions of dollars into investments. You put your reputation as an unpaid journalist on the line. I love it, Frank. For executive producer Brendan Martin, gold to go. Again, our salute to the day, the great American, Pierre T. Landash. I don't know what the T stands for. We'll find out next week. Thanks, everybody.
See you guys. Go Tigers.
All right. Bye-bye. Go Tigers.